Hello, my name is Ameera Afiqah Binti Ahmad from the animation course. I want to tell the story of Francis Bacon, who is an artist in Europe. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about his background and the artwork he created in his lifetime. Let's get into his background. Francis Bacon is an Irish-British painter who was born on October 28, 1909 in Dublin. He was named after his famous ancestor who was an English philosopher and scientist. His father served in the army and most likely attributed to Francis' connotation of violence in his paintings. He was a sickly child and had severe asthma who was homeschooled for most of his childhood. He was left to the care of his nanny due to his parents being too busy for work to care for their 4 kids. It wasn't long until his family relation took a turn for the worse after Francis ends up being a homosexual, as he was harshly punished by his father, who had him whipped by several boys who were involved in Francis' sexual experiences. Francis was later kicked out of the household after being caught by his father of him wearing his mother's clothing. With his limited allowance, he moved to London during the 1920s, where he was involved in interior design and furniture. One of his patrons suggested him to take up oil painting as well during the time. Francis was inspired by the works of Picasso and other surrealist artists' works during his trip at Paris at the time. Francis' artwork borrowed inspiration from surrealist film, photography, and old masters. He also forged a distinctive style that made him recognizable during the 1940s and 1950s. His artwork is also known for depiction of wounded and traumatized humanity during the post-World War. His artworks are always depicted as violently distorted, almost like slabs of meat that are so imprisoned and tormented by existential dilemmas. Francis is able to convey strong emotion towards the viewer and is often felt unsettling to look at. Let's look at his artworks, shall we? Here we have one of his artworks, which is titled The Crucifixion. This was his first exhibition and it depicts the horrors of it. It gives off an unsettling feeling as the painting gives off a ghostly touch to it. The unsettling composition with dark colors surrounds it. It was the start of Francis' obsession of fear and pain in his paintings. This painting also shows the horrors that was left during the World War and how brutality changed the world. It is a powerful message with an unsettling undertones of the real-life events that happened. Aside from that, his other artworks includes the painting. The painting is a painting that is shown to have a dreamlike or mostly nightmarish feel to it. It is disturbing as it shows a carcass on a tree as a man sits below with an umbrella. It is like taking a trip to a butcher store. Lastly, the final artwork I wanted to talk about is Two Figures. This painting shows 2 men eloping with each other. Instead of showing a lovely and romantic scene, with dark colors, it shows a sinister encounter. Francis often painted the abuse that he was exposed to in his aggressive relationships back then. Well, as the video is slowly coming to the end, I wanted to say one of his quotes right now. This Francis Bacon quote reads, "I feel ever so strongly that an artist must be nourished by his passion and his despairs. These things alter an artist, whether for the good or for the better or for the worse. It must alter him. The feeling of desperation and unhappiness are far more useful to an artist than the feeling of contentment, because desperation and happiness stretch your whole sensibility." Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you gained 1 or 2 things about Francis Bacon.